Peace, everyone. Hello, hello, hello there. Good afternoon. This is Angela Jordan Perry, the owner, administrator, and director of this Option 3 South Carolina Homeschool Accountability Association. So I'm going to give you all a few seconds to jump on. Some of you who are always faithful, hi Socorro. Some of you who are always faithful to jump on, come on in, share this out to your page right now. That'd be great. You just never know who is homeschooling or who are considering homeschooling here in the state of South Carolina or in your state. So please be sure to go ahead and share that. I'm going to touch on a topic that I just had a conversation with a newbie homeschool mom this morning by phone. I sounded much worse than I do now. Right now, I am getting over sinus stuff, I guess. I came back from my cruise last week, and as soon as I hit foot in South Carolina, I started to sound like a frog. So anyway, so be sure to share this. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a homeschooling mom of 19 years to 8 children, 3 of whom we have graduated out of homeschool, and 5 of whom I'm still in the thick of homeschooling. We make our home in the northwestern part of the state of South Carolina in Campobello, where we are self-sustaining farmers. I am a life partner to my husband now of 27 years. Next month, July, will be 27 years. And I have a few platforms where I am the host of Girlfriends Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry, and also Girlfriends Chat with Angela Jordan Perry. That's a podcast. And there I share information and helps to helping those of the African diasporic community to start homeschooling. My purpose-driven life is to make a positive impact on thousands of homeschoolers worldwide. And I do that first serving my community here in South Carolina. I have members all over the state in whom I give legal rights to homeschool in the state of South Carolina. Okay, so that's just a little bit about me. So today's topic is in regards to following the standards of education for South Carolina, or for any state for that matter. To do that or not to do that. I had this conversation with this homeschool mom who was telling me that she follows the state requirements of education as she homeschools her grandchildren. I think they're her grandchildren. All right. So, and I shared with her, that is something that I did when I first got started homeschooling in Virginia. I just wasn't very confident in myself, wasn't very sure of what I was doing and what I should be doing. So I literally downloaded from the Virginia, that was at the time I was in Virginia, their standards of education for each grade level. I was newbie, so I started with kindergarten. So I did it from all the grades, all the way to 12th grade. I knew I was going to be doing this long term, so I wanted to know what all the kindergartners have to know before they finish kindergarten in Virginia in public school. What do they need to know first grade and all the way through? And I followed that. And then what happened was my children started superseding that information. Like they had already knew majority of it going into the kindergarten. Or like my third child, she knew all of it that she had to know for Virginia. And even when I moved here to South Carolina, my third oldest was 4 or 5, going on 5. But I had already started homeschooling her, so I just kept going with Virginia. And then I did the same thing when I got here, printed off what South Carolina requirements were, and my kids already knew all of that stuff. They were really about, when I started at 4 years old, they were really about first grade towards the end of the first grade year of what they should know. So like I said, my third oldest, we just went through kindergarten, first grade so fast. She finished all of that in one school year, the books, at 4, okay? And needless to say, she graduated at 15, went off to college at 16. But my older 2, we were still in Virginia, and the same thing applied. They were so ahead of what was required. So I just kept going, and I was like, okay, well, we know all of that. And so to do it or not to do it. I don't think it's a bad idea to follow the state standards when you're first getting started. When you're first getting started, you can be, I will use the word anal, but you really want to cross all your T's and dot your I's. That's your mindset. Like, I got to do this right. I got to do right by my kids. I want to homeschool well for them. And so you want some kind of guidance, whether you're using a curriculum that lays out things that a kindergarten should know, or a first grader or third grader, et cetera, should know, or you're going to find out what the state is required for their public school students to do. And I'm going to say 8 times out of 10, at least, our students are ahead of what public school students are doing. And basically also, if you're, depending on what curriculum you're using at home, you may go at the pace of public school or you may go much faster. I was using ABECA, A-B-E-K-A, and they typically are 1.5 to 2 years ahead of public school. And so that's why my kids were so ahead in their studies in compared to what was required for public school. So to follow the standards or not to follow the standards, that's completely up to you. The option 3 law does not indicate that you must do so. The option 3 law just simply says that you have to school them in math, science, social studies, reading, and writing. And when they enter the 7th grade to 12th grade, include literature and composition. Basically, the writing and reading changes to literature and composition. And that's how you get your English 1, English 2, etc. when they're in the 7th grade or higher. So, you know, it's a lot of factors. If you have questions, let me know. She says, Damari Brandon says, my twins were held back because we did a lot of moving in a year's worth of time. And, you know, the beauty, Damari, of homeschooling is that held back in 1st grade. Okay. But the beauty of homeschooling is that there's no holding back unless you want to go over some concepts from that grade. We don't typically use the word hold back in homeschooling because we're just going to go at our children's pace and keep educating. We don't so much focus on a grade. Like my 4-year-old who completed kindergarten or 1st grade, she had no clue about a grade. The grade stuff was for me. All she knew is she was learning. Mom, that's all the paperwork you have for me to do. Can I do some more? Is what she said at 4 and 5 and 6 all the way through. And she just was, you know, devouring the schoolwork. So Damari, if you're homeschooling, I don't know if you are homeschooling, let me know, have you started? Are you considering homeschooling? Because if you're considering homeschooling or are homeschooling, the fact that they got held back in 1st grade, no biggie. Now you're homeschooling, move them along. If you're going to focus on grade levels, keep going until they are where you think they should be to age. But that really does not matter because for me personally, I don't even care about a grade because I don't want to say I don't care about a grade. It's not my big focus. I typically skip 6th, 7th, and 8th grade anyway. All right. So my kids always will have time on their hands because they're always going to be ahead, if you will, because what happened, even if that's another video. I'll start that on another video. How in the world do I skip 6th and 7th, 8th grade? And why do I do that? And what does that look like? I don't want to make this a very much longer video, but just know that time is on your hand when you are home educating. You are the home educator and you get to decide the speed and space. She says, I'm thinking about it. I want to remove them from public school. All right. Are you in the state of South Carolina, Damari? So you as the home educator get to decide the pace of your student. You get to decide what they're going to learn. They can be in the 2nd grade and already understand 5th grade math concepts. So then you got a 1st grader, if you want to give them a grade, understanding and doing 5th grade math. And it happens all the time in homeschooling where you can have one student who's in 1 grade and doing higher grade level work or maybe even lower grade level work in whatever the subject. That's absolutely fine. Our homeschool students, when I say our, I mean the community as a whole, have our kids doing all levels of work depending on their growth, understanding, and development because the beauty of home education is that you get to go at their pace and at their interests, okay? So if they tend to struggle at math, then slow it down a little bit. There's no hurry. I have done Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 over a 2-year period of time with my kids. I slowed it down. I want them to understand it. I don't want them to just say, I completed it, just to say they completed it. But I want to make sure they understand the concept. She says, I plan on attending the Homeschoolers Expo next month in Atlanta. So I guess you live in Atlanta, and that's fine. So just know that Atlanta is Georgia is a great state to homeschool in because they are really free in your education and how you educate your students. All right, so that's the gist of it. If you have questions or comments or thoughts, post them in the comment. I will answer and reply to you. Just know that you are the home educator. And per state, it does depend. They have different regulations. I will speak for South Carolina, you have that freedom to choose and go at their pace. In Georgia, it's a lot more freer, okay? A lot more freer. Just make sure you go to your state online and look at the homeschool legal requirements. And then in North Carolina, which is my neighboring state, again, you have a bit more freedoms. Just at the end of the year, you have to test and you have to make sure they're at least on that grade level that you say that they're in. But you can certainly go ahead. You just always have to test at the end of the year. No one gets to test but you, so that you can see if they are on grade level or not, okay? But if you have questions, ask me down below and I'll get back with you. Again, I'm Angela Jordan Perry. I am the owner, director, and administrator of this Option 3 Accountability Association here in the state of South Carolina, which is United Community of Homeschoolers Unlimited. Go to my website at www.uchunlimited.com to get all the nicks and crannies and understanding and my parent handbook and what that looks like to join my association. I have members all over the state, so I'm not limited to geographical location. And what that basically means, if you're not from South Carolina, I give families or provide them with legal right to homeschool in the state of South Carolina, okay? So that's what I do. And then I aid them, assist them, hold their hand, give them resources, etc., along their homeschooling journey. Okay, that's what I do in addition to that. All right, visit my other resources I have, Girlfriend's Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry, both on YouTube and on Facebook. Tons of videos to encourage you of interviews I've done with homeschooling moms and dads all over the country and world. I've extended outside of the country here. And then Girlfriends Chat with Angela Jordan Perry. I'm on all podcasts. You can go and listen to those very intimate conversations that I've had with homeschool moms. And then as well, I have a new one coming up. Yes, I will be posting about that. It's called the Homeschool Upstart. So it's a 20-day, #20-day South Carolina Homeschool Upstart. And just helping all of you who are already homeschooling or will be getting started in homeschool, how to get you started in 20 days. All the things you need to know emotionally, personally, as a mom or a dad who's homeschooling, all the nuts and bolts of actually homeschooling your child. Look for that. More information will be coming out on the Homeschool Upstart. So look for that information, okay? All right, that's been a long video, longer than what I normally want it to be. Peace to all of you. If you'd like to talk with me by phone, click on the blue book it button on my Facebook page. If you're on YouTube, just comment down below, Angela, I'd like to chat with you. But my link to my virtual calendar is there. Just click on a time and date that works for you, and we can chat for 15 minutes by phone and just help you along in any way you need, okay? All right, take care. Peace.